Hello and welcome back to Boys on Film. My name is Phil Marriott. I'm joined once again by Raj Rudolph. We are talking about horror, mystery, thriller film, Spanish film called Piggy, written and directed by Carlota Pereda. It stars Laura Galán. Before we decide if Piggy is a Boys on Film banger though, Raj, question for you. Do you remember Babe back in the 90s, mid-90s?
Yeah.
Film about the farm pig who wants to do the work of a sheepdog. What was its 1998 sequel? Can you remember the title?
Any countdown music? Yeah, drawing a blank.
Okay, answer will be revealed at the end of this video, so keep watching. Right, Piggy, let's talk about this. Based on a short of the same name, which won awards. I think it featured also the same actress, the lead actress, Laura Galán. Set in the Spanish countryside. It's about Sarah, who's an overweight girl. She's tormented by local girls. I was going to say her friends, but they're not really her friends. Well, I don't think they would be her friends because they're just the most vicious people that pick on her. They're kidnapped by a stranger. She faces a dilemma about what to do, help the police or seek vengeance. It's quite an interesting story. I think there might be spoilers in this video as well, but we have got 5 minutes to decide on whether we like or hate this film. So, first of all, am I allowed to say that the villain is quite hot in this?
You're totally allowed to say that because I felt the same way.
Richard Holmes is the actor.
I might have to look his Internet Movie Database page up after this.
Yeah, well, I did some research. It's weird. I think he's done a couple of films, but nothing major. And yeah, there's not a lot of information on him, so I was quite disappointed by that. But what did you think of the film overall? I like the dilemma that she had. That was more of a mystery than horror for me. I mean, I guess it does go quite horrific at the end.
I kind of knew a lot about this film going into it because I'm an avid listener to the Big Fat Gay podcast to talk about all things gay and fat. And they did an extensive review of this film, which actually, kind of viewing it through their lens, I actually really liked the film. I didn't love the film. I really liked it, and I can understand why some of the choices were made because, you know, as an overweight individual who hasn't been tormented at some point in their life or ridiculed, you know, so it's kind of like, you know, fat kid's revenge movie, and I just really kind of liked it. I wish it would have went a bit farther because, you know, obviously the main character is she's put through the ringer and goes to hell and back, and you know, her family is tormented, but she has every opportunity to go on a murderous rampage herself.
The story I thought was quite original in the fact that it kind of threw me completely because it wasn't necessarily the film that I thought it was going to be.
Everyone wants a story like that. Like, I wanted her to, like, chop their heads off. I was really rooting for her, you know, to, you know, ride off into the sunset with the hot bear villain and Bonnie and Clyde that shit, you know?
We've seen bullying in horrors before, like, you know, Friday the 13th and It and Carrie, I guess, back in the 70s as well. But I think what they did with it, I think the story was quite original and unpredictable, so I quite liked it for that.
Yeah, you know what really made it, though, is they got a very authentic actress to really bare her soul and her body and show all the folds and round places and, you know, all the ugly stuff that, you know, that people try to hide who are ashamed of their bodies. And, you know, all those scenes of her, like, running down the street, like, without a towel and bloody and, you know, in just a small swimsuit that no one else is supposed to see. Like, that's more than acting. That's like putting your whole self on display. And, you know, I thought her performance was absolutely brave.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't particularly like the ending, you know, when they're in the warehouse and it's kind of like the final showdown. Like, I felt like some of those bits were a bit weak.
The first part of the film was filmed in sunlight, so it didn't have that creepy element, although I think the creepiness was the bullying aspect, which I think works more than what we expect from a horror film, which is what we saw towards the end. For me, I think one of the standouts was the mother, Carmen Machi. Is it Carmen Machi? Who's... I think she's well known as a comedy actress. She played the mother, and I thought she was brilliant because she added a bit of comedy to this. I mean, I wasn't necessarily scared by this film. I don't think it's that kind of film. I don't think it's like a really scary horror film. So I think it might disappoint.
Like, I wouldn't even consider this a horror movie.
No.
It's kind of a thriller. It's kind of a independent Spanish thriller, if you ask me. Yeah, I kind of wish they would have delved into the backstory of why this killer was the way he was. They don't really take the time to flesh that out, but you know, it's quite funny because he had a lot of compassion for this girl who's getting picked on. So I kind of want to know, you know, where all that originated from and why he kind of latched on to her, because I really felt like he was in love with her and he just wanted to protect her at no matter what the cost. And he thought that because she was accepting of, you know, his murderous ways, that she would just submit. You know, so I mean, there's a lot of layers to the story. You could peel them back one by one all day long. But
my take on that was that he was bullied when he was a child, so he was getting revenge on anyone that did what people did to him. That's how I read it anyway, which I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah, but he's just kind of like very Michael Myers, kind of just around.
Yeah, he was a real mystery figure.
Yeah, like how he just happened to be around. No one really knew who he was.
Yeah.
And you know, he didn't wear a costume or anything. It was just kind of, you know, him. And you know, that's a few plot points too. Like if someone's committing that amount of murders and he's just walking around in broad daylight murdering people like that,
exactly.
You know, someone's gonna like at least recognize him, but the only person that did was the main character.
Time to decide if Piggy is a boys on film banger or if it's a blunder. I'm giving Piggy a rating of 75%. I don't think it was anything new, but I enjoyed it and I thought it was quite interesting. It didn't go where I thought it was going to go. I thought it was well done. It was confident film.
The reason I had such a reaction because I'm also giving it a 75%.
Wow, exactly the same. Great minds think alike. So I think we can certify it a Boys on Film banger. It gets a UK cinema release on the 6th of January 2023. So we're up front. I know it's been a big hit at some of the festivals, Fright Fest, and I think it was wasn't it South by Southwest last year?
I can't remember, to be honest.
That's too far back.
Yeah, just ages ago. Mark, God.
At the beginning of this video, I asked you a question. Babe, which was released in 1995, it had a sequel which came out 3 years later. What was the title? It was Babe, Pig in the City.
There you go.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Good to see you, Raj. See you on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe.